Hello, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in this moment, in this very special day, opening our second International Symposium of Social Haptic Communication, Assistive Technology, and Inclusion. During this second meeting, our first meeting happened online in the pandemic, and now we're here in a hybrid way. We have several people here presentially, and there are a lot of people too that are here virtually with us. This event is being translated to four languages. We have here in Portuguese, actually five Portuguese, uh, Chilean Sign Language, Spanish, English, and Brazilian Sound. Especially here we have some tactile libras, and tomorrow we will have the Doma and social haptic communication and audio description. We have all these communication modalities here, and it's very important for including everyone that we've been uh, we've been in contact with. With us, we have Professor Adriana Batista Azevedo and Professor Ismael Cortivalenti. I will be here mediating this table too. So, real quickly, Professor Ismael is the rector of this university from UNIMEP and MA in Religious Studies from UMass, rector of this university and professor in the graduate programs in education and religious studies. We also have Professor Adriana Barroso de Azevedo, PhD in Communication Studies from Universidade Metodista de Paulo, with postdoctoral degree in education from University of the North, professor in Dean of Graduate Studies and Research at UMass, works in education, distance learning, higher education, management, and narrative research. And me, Elaine Gomes Vilela, I PhD and MA in Education from UMass, specialist in higher education, teaching, and Libras Portuguese, translation and interpretation, coordinator of our study group here. Again, I'd like to thank Adriana and the director here. Good morning, everyone. Especially for Professor Adriana, Professor Elaine, and everyone here, essentially, and also everyone that is virtually here with us. It, it's joyful for us to be here and be able to communicate. That's a very important characteristic of us, our characteristic as human beings. And I am a scientist of religious studies. I understand that communication is a very important part of the tradition and the Christian tradition too. And in this religion that we had nothing and then everything became concrete and one of the main part of this process is communication. So we we understand that everything passes through the speech, and when God started talking and communicating, things started to consolidate. And after billions and billions of years, we kept building and participating in this creation process through communication. So the university had this care and all this work. So everything we want to communicate can be felt and understood using all the different kinds of communication possible. So we'd like to thank Professor Adriano, which is one of the Dean of Studies, and me as the director. It's very important to be here. It's a joy to be here with you guys and to see all these amazing things happen in our space in our university. So thank you for being here, Professor Adriana. Again, I'm very happy to be here. Let's give it up for us. A hand of applause. So I'm very happy to be here in this second international symposium that's happening in a better moment than the first one, because the first one we were very afraid about the pandemic, and thank God it's has passed fully, although we had a lot of losses in the way. But we're happy to see that everyone's here and healthy and able to share moments together potentially and virtually too. It's very interesting to be here. We're winning a lot of challenges by being here, including the distance, which is a great challenge. And we've been discovering that it's not a problem, a big problem anymore, because we are being able to be together virtually. And that's amazing. So I'm very happy to be here. I'd like to start by thanking and congratulating to Professor Elaine and the group for all the work. It's not easy to arrange an event. We know that all the structures and the organization process, but I've been following the group, and although being in WhatsApp, just checking with you, not participating fully in all the meetings, but it's interesting to see that the group is working together, united, everyone operating together. That's a very different and interesting thing to be aware of. Yesterday, I was talking to some of our students, saying that one the probably the most challenging thing is about cooperation. Cooperation is maybe our main challenge because it can transform an isolated thing into a great thing. It's not just learn, not just drone, not just a meme, or just relay, or just read it. It's a work for everyone, and that is is going to feed everyone on the researchers. So if I could give an example of collaboration, I would say this week. So that's interesting because cooperation and collaboration are values that are super important for this time and save us for some situations that we can think that there's no solution. But yeah, we can find a way of doing that. So as our rector said, we are the Methodist University of São Paulo. We've been here for more than 80 years. It's a confessional Christian university, and it's based on the ethic Christian values, and that for us is something very valuable. Our rector has been working strongly alongside us in a program that is it's an integration in several instances inside the university, so we can like return all the Christian values and turn them to important values alongside all the works, the academic works we've been doing. So thinking about Christian ethics, we have to think about inclusion. Inclusion for us Christians is something very, very important. We've been dedicating ourselves to think about inclusion. There's also work from Professor Elizabeth Liebers who did a great job with policy inclusion and worked for several years in that. And Professor Eleni, now that she is here, she kept going with all this work about inclusion and this perspective that is a part of everything and everyone in the sector. Eleni is very provocative, and today, if you come here and use Libra to communicate with the doorman, they will respond because they are making courses in Brazilian Sign Language, so they can uh, communicate better with everyone, deaf or mm, incorporating also being a part of the process. And it's also an institution that is super important. So I think this meeting, this symposium, is part of the inclusive practice that help us development of science and knowledge. And I think it is a deep reflection of everything that we believe are the development of a science that begins in the practice on real problems that is like born inside the society. And this group synthesize all these values. So this group, uh, I still think that is a little bit hard to pronounce the name. I think we may have to find a nickname for the group, but this group is dedicated to think about inclusion in social haptic communication. When Elon finds me to her MA, we begin with a trip to the knowledge about deaf blindness. And for me, it's super new because I didn't know anything about that. Initially, Eleni was talking about deaf people and sign language. But eventually, we discovered a different world of deaf blindness. And still in her MMU, we started thinking, how is it going to reflect in the future? When that happened, she started his PhD studies, And then the pandemic happened, and when we coordinate everything, uh, it was something that initially we started one thing and then became other thing. I think.
So in the beginning, our training started with professionalization goal, with the families looking after us and also the support that society and community needed. We started organizing how closer to what we see nowadays, and it starts a process that we had no idea back then it would be so amazing, and it would create so much knowledge. So Elaine starts collecting materials and studying as a base for her research. And she also becomes herself uh, a reference based on Rita's work, especially because Rita's uh, is our our base for everything. So we thought that it was something that would end during the thesis process, but actually it was only the beginning of everything. And some people feel like when their PhD is over and they in their paper, oof, this is the end. I'm so grateful. But for learning was just the beginning of our trajectory. And it was the starting point, and nowadays I'm pretty sure of that. She was opening doors not only by herself but with great people, people just like her that that um, commit themselves to this mission of helping people that need communication and that need a communicational process of training of learning to be fully participant in the world. So this is genuinely human and empathic um, exercise. This is something very special with within this group because every research you develop with your colleagues, with different people, you develop a terrific work. So this door opened by the PhD thesis, and Elena's courage didn't let it die. So she could have said, okay, I've ended this process, now I have my title and I'm a PhD. But actually, she said, now is the beginning of my journey, of my work and, and my work life. So now she actually works much more than when she was doing her PhD. So uh, besides everything we already have to work and deal with at the university, we have a very heavy dynamics of work dynamic, but it's not a lonely one, right? So this collective work is what makes the difference. So this thesis process of writing and researching when I met Elaine, I have found out this me- uh, research methodology that has helped me so much. It's very hard to start with methodology because uh, scientific research has to make sense and to present results that are understandable not only for the university but also for the society to be impactful. And thinking backwards now, something that would annoy me as well, it it would I really wanted something that would integrate the participants. So I wanted something that would make sense for human sciences. So the narrative research enters our lives as a research methodology comes that meets our needs. So it helps us to get to know experience and works with that and builds space for people to build new experiences. So this group is a very special space because you're always sharing what you guys been researching and doing and sharing this knowledge and creating new knowledge and bringing new information. This helps um, to develop knowledge for science. And as um, each research, especially because we have Rita and Ross, and we have the privilege of having them with us, and Elaine has had this privilege. So you are very privileged to be sharing this space together. They, a young man with a lot of experience, and he has been a reference. He has been something uh, important in the field. So they have shared their experience. This experience has been the base for um, for the research, but also tidying it up with the research and making it academically possible. So the experience coming to the scientific field and us that work with science, we treat the experience, we treat the data, and so it's settled, it's based, it's rooted on experience. So I use the experience from the other as mine. So when Warley shares his experience with me, for example, we are sharing his experience and it becomes ours. So as we use the theoretical basis and concepts, uh, the center of our research is the experience and also to help people that are starting in the research field to help them enter this world and create their own research. So Elaine is the one who works um, a lot with this methodology. And this methodology has also been very present in the group because it's through the experience that you are building knowledge and scientific knowledge. So every meeting, you've been sharing very different and a specific experiences that has to be organized academically. So the specificity in the new cases that are brought to the group, they are so new, they're brand new, and we cannot find any other reference in the literature, in the academic. So you are building history from scratch. You are leaving your mark at the at, in Brazilian science because certainly this is going to help and is going to maybe offer a new and different bright future for the blind people in Brazil. So I proudly say these words, but I also feel the weight of the responsibility of you as being part of this group because, of course, at the same time, you receive a gift, you receive a talent, also comes with responsibilities and with the weight of delivering and and make it possible for people in the society to be blessed by your work. So I was looking at the program and our agenda is going to be so amazing. We are going to talk about multisensorial disability, kinesthetic uh, learning aspect, social haptic communication, and the history, the basis of the, and how you've been working with Rita and Ross is so amazing, and guide interpretation as well, and also the legislation, also blindness in the protagonism role. So it makes us think how much there's still out there to be researched. And tomorrow we are going to be our second day about the new perspectives of knowledge and what has been added to the field and knowledge that has become reference to academic Brazilian research field, but also to the world. So my idea in my now is to give this context of the event, but also to present to you guys that are here to understand who is this group, what is this group, and so Eleni used my name to start the group, and I said, okay, Eleni, when you finish your PhD, I'm going to give you the responsibility. Yeah, so the first symposium I was already the leader of the group. Yes, because she has always been the leader, and we will not let it die. So when we are talking about this commitment, this effort, this is the absolute truth because this group has been a dream, but not a lonely dream, but something that we have all dreamed together, and we believe we're inspired by God. I respect that each one here has their own beliefs, but we believe that it was God's hand on the work you guys have been accomplishing. So we feel we have been seeing small miracles around us all the time, and we hope you can keep being the warriors that you are in this research field, which is very hard and complicated, but also so relevant, so impactful and necessary. So the Methodist University is going to keep supporting this group in new projects and people that want to enter the group to support us. We take the advantage of the dean being here to advertise. But we thank him for being so supportive to us, and this is part of our DNA. I wanted to bring up our story for you guys to be sure this is in our DNA, in the university DNA, and this is very important to all of us. I hope you have two very intense day and very um, uh, productive, that you have a lot of reflection and production. This is very important because only reflecting upon on things, you have to write it down and you have to publish. So that's the way that we register and then we spread it through the days, throughout the days. It's not only for today, but how we spread our knowledge. So it's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much. I would invite Alessandra. She's the post-graduation coordinator, but unfortunately she couldn't be here. She also coordinates the law um, program here, so she wouldn't be here now, but she recorded a video so she could welcome you here today. So we're going to present. Alessandra Maria is a PhD in diffusive ecology rights from the Metropolitan University of Santos. She's the coordinator of the law program and the education program at UMESP.
Hello, everyone, participants of this symposium organized by the group. Oh, there was a problem in the transmission.
Aproveitar que travou, aí você. Por que eu tô ouvindo a minha voz? Você fala agora ou eu? Eu não sei por que eu tô me ouvindo. Os microfones estão tudo fechado. Da onde tá saindo minha voz? Ó, fechado. Sim. Tá me ouvindo? Ó. Aí eu acho que o teu microfone tá pegando a minha voz. É.
Ah, tá. Deixa. Vamos mutar. Isso aí, tá?
For this professional institution, and an educational project of the Methodist Church. The Methodist missionaries got to Brazil in the second half of the 19th century with the concern of education. So the first school was opened in Piracicaba. We were already starting our educational path. There was already a concern about the inclusion principle. Well, we started school with one student. A project that already included women, girls, which most formal institutions then would focus on boys, the culture of that time. Formal education was basically for boys, and our school started with girls. But this now first school and open the understanding to the republic that was soon to come, and that education should include men and women, boys and girls. So in our Genesis, the issue of inclusion was already present. Now, after 1.5 centuries, we have the presence of this education, secular education in our country, from early years to doctorate. This worry of including as a confessional institute, not only because it's our interest, but because it's part of the Brazilian regulation. It's importance of including people of all socioeconomic information. So it's part of the history of Brazilian education. Haptic social we want to see Professor me, the presenters. I'm very happy to welcome all of you into our Symposium, which values the same communication. There's the Haptic social communication. We live in a period that it becomes collective and essential to our society. So it guarantees that all the people can belong, take part in our society, and the Haptic social communication opens way. It's a communication of the touch, of the body, of communication that is truly inclusive. When we talk about assistive technology, we talk about diverse sense being put into the context of social inclusion. It includes the kinesthetic body and the touch, the movement of the body, light with technology, develop the inclusion of people. The Symposium brings the Haptic social communication, assistive technology, and inclusion, opens areas for people to belong. We want to reflect how we can include assistive technology, social communication into trainings, education, people with information, body, and for people to be included. We want people to exchange knowledge. To open space for the people to exchange knowledge here and to bring their contributions and that people all together and open new ways for people to be included with the help of assistive technology and active social communication. I'd like to thank the presence of everyone. It's very special to have everyone here. It's good, and that we have been developing all these researches, not just research to be filed, but research to for people, with people. Tomorrow we're going to have the presentation and several other presentations now for the people who are here at the university. I would like to thank two people that came from Horizonte to do the research here at our institution. So we have the research of Paulo and Maria Min, who are here with us. Now, the research of Josiane is also here with us. We have the research of the development of communication. Is how the parents develop the language. This period, preschool, that is not charted yet. We want to work with these parents and how they communicate with these species. This is the research developed by Mariani. She's we also have the research of Paulo, work with blind deaf people. So these two modalities side. We're talking about how we're gonna design this research for Shazikabu. How these children, teenagers, identify themselves blind, and how they transition for this people with some senses, but they use the senses. They're part of their communities. We are working on the design of this education because this is a gigantic universe. We are at the Methodist University. The doors open for you to bring your research, what you have been studying. We have several professors working on this field. We want to keep it for the next generations, not only to be applied. So we want to show it beyond the academia. We want to also to follow the path open by other professors. So in the beginning, one of our professors had to make way in this field. The group was very small. No, it was non-existent. And now we have a whole research in this field. So Professor Shirley was the one who made way for us to continue with this research and developing
develop this field, sometimes people think that's a minority, but it is a very special minority, and it's wonderful to work with this minority, and they allow us to have this privilege. So I would like to end this panel thanking the people who have been working for months so that this event could be made possible, spending weekends, working overnight to develop everything that made it possible for this event to take place today. All these people are volunteers, and they are working for the love for this cause that is so special for us to include in the field of inclusion. And now we are here discussing this theme. We have people translating into Spanish, into Chilean Sign Language, to Libras, the Brazilian Sign Language, in English too.
So we have 4 teams, also the audio description team that is here with us. And I'd like to thank all these teams because by myself, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And as Professor Adriana said today, the cooperation and collaboration of all the people made the event possible. And also want to thank Umi for the support, the technical support, the IT, Professor Ismail, Professor Alessandra, Professor Adriana, and everyone that is involved, all the secretaries here that gave us the support, Adilson, responsible for the accessibility. All of you are super special. Because of this event is happening here and in the world. Our course event had more than 2,000 visualization in several languages, and summing all the languages had more than 3,000 visualizations. In this event, now we have English and Spanish. Maybe the next one, I don't know. Don't cry, Wiley, which is our coordinator of interpretation teams. But maybe the next one will have other languages, other sign languages. I don't know. We have a very interesting space here with all the infrastructure, but this space, this Agora, which is a place to share knowledge, and that's what we intend to do and to do. And it's a space that will be kept open to all the researchers here. You're all invited to be here, part of this space. Everyone that have interest in participating in this group, but it is a study group that works. It's not that one that you just put your name and then you put on the Technology Council, Research Council of Brazil. You have to cooperate. So that's a very dedicated group, very engaged with everything. It's not a group that you can just make believe that you were there. You actually need everyone, all hands on deck, to make it work. It is a study group that is committed to this cause, and it's important to say that me and Professor Diana, we went to Europe, and I went to her and said, "It's your fault," because I couldn't imagine that our research could start here in São Paulo, in Brazil, and go to Spain. We also went to uh, we also went to Strasbourg, and we went there to talk with researchers that are anthropologists. They talk about the century emotions. We are referencing to us as that's why we do this. So our research is going outside the boundaries of Brazil only, within acting in different places, in different initiatives. That's super important. And if you guys want to be a part of it, if you have uh, time, you have energy to contribute, if you have these features, we are open to receive you. Okay, uh, okay, 11:30 is our next table. So we have about 30 minutes, and that's something important to us. We will always have a big timeout for uh, so we can rest a little bit. And 11:30 we'll be back. Okay, thank you guys.